Hello everyone, Gamer here, back for the third and final part of the no social stat run in Persona 5 Royal, where I attempt to beat the entire game without leveling up a single social stat to level 2 on merciless difficulty. If you haven't seen the previous two parts covering the first 6 palaces, be sure to check those videos out before watching this one. Also, major spoilers ahead, as this video will be covering the remaining chapters in the game after the interrogation, including the Royal exclusive 3rd semester. I don't want to spoil you guys, and if you think that me explaining the plot on wrongly is going to save you, you're definitely wrong. If you choose to continue past this point, just know you have been warned. We're currently at these points for all 5 social stats, and if we cross the threshold for any of them, the challenge will fail. So without further ado, let's fly up in the sky and complete the last third of Persona 5 Royal as socially insecure as possible. I catch up with Sai on everything that has happened, and she tries to bribe me to sell out my friends in favor of avoiding the easy way out. But since Joker is too socially incapable of being evil, we keep silent on our friends, causing Mom here to take my phone away from me. But this maxes out Sai Nijima of the Judgment Arcana, allowing me to fuse the literal devil himself. Akechi comes in and saves the day as he kills the guard and helps me escape. I return back to the cafe and everyone is way too over-relieved like I died or something. Sai and Sujiro join our team, and Akechi gets intel for us on who the mastermind behind the Men in Black is. Apparently, Lex Luthor here wants to make Japan great again, and people believe his obvious lies. But once I confirm that this is the same bald douche who made me lose all my social quirks, that just made the decision to take him down much easier. We jump into his palace and we end up at the ending of Sonic Adventure. Thankfully, we leave Sonic to perfect chaos as we storm the capital in the hope to find a nice podium to take home with us. Kasume offers her assistance to help us, but the game forces us to say no to her, further rubbing holy stone salt in the wounds of people who bought the pointless DLC. And as of November 25th, we can start infiltrating Shido's palace. Once again, the only thing we can really do in this game is harvest vegetables with Haru, duplicate skill cards with Yusuke, donate money to buy wine at the church, spend all our savings on the home shopping program, and give the trader an item to trade because he spoils his kid like Veruca Salt. On November 25th at nighttime, we can continue Caroline and Justine's outings by taking them to LeBlanc. Don't take this the wrong way, Sujiro. I don't want to be arrested again. And on December 1st, we can take the twins to the Underground Mall, which is the final requested outing for Caroline and Justine. However, the special outings are not over yet, so I'm not calling this complete. On December 2nd, we jump into Shido's palace without Akechi, and we do what is definitely one of the most atmospheric palaces, but also one of the longest palaces thanks to the rat puzzles. The rat puzzles definitely drag this palace on, but the Zelda fan in me loves puzzle solving, so I really don't hate the rat puzzles. But because this palace is long, I recommend using a treasure trap at the start of your infiltration just to double the chances of encountering treasure demons. And from here, we just insta-kill any enemies highlighted in green and prepare for any battles against the representatives holding the 5 letters of recommendation. The politician is weak to psychokinesis, so be sure to have Haru in your party for the fight. The perverted noble at the swimming pool is weak to electricity. Too bad he wasn't in the swimming pool at the same time as well. The heartless orphan mocking TV station president is weak to ice, while his bodyguards are weak to electricity. The IT company president is weak to nuke and nullify psychokinesis, while his bodyguards are weak to psychokinesis and nullify nuke. The 5th letter of recommendation is from a Yakuza boss, and when he refuses to pose completely nude for Yusuke, we fight the Yakuza who has neutral affinities and fights with physical and curse. Once we get the last letter of recommendation, Akechi meets us in the boiler room. He asks Joker if their love meant anything. I try to tell him, of course it does, but then he starts to freak out, accusing me as a liar and cheater, and then he shows off his adopted pets as he tries to get them to kill us. We wipe them out, but then we fight up against Akechi. Defeated, he starts to get all psychotic, given probably some of the best voice acting in this entire game.
Why am I inferior to you? I was extremely particular about my life, my grades, my public image, so someone would want me around. You're just some criminal trash living in an attic. So how? How does someone like you have things I don't?
Believing he can no longer have Joker, he goes all out to kill me, because if he can't have Joker, then no one else can. The fight against Akechi is awesome, because it's kinda hilariously pathetic.
That was awesome, Mona!
And anytime he erects a physical wall in front of me, I just have Joker beat it off with a persona that repels physical to avoid taking damage. Once we knock common sense into Akechi, it was too late. A cognitive version of Akechi comes to kill us, and my god, did anyone else have nightmares over this goddamn face? Ugh! Akechi manages to shoot that face, but ends up sacrificing himself to save us. I promise him that we will put an end to Shido, and with no Justice Arcana maxed, we listen to our boyfriend die a tragic death.
Isn't there some way to get this open, Mona? His signal is gone.
This will haunt Joker for the rest of his life. If only he were more knowledgeable and charming enough to continue the dates with Akechi, then maybe none of this would be happening right now. Well, sadly, we have no choice but to fulfill our promise to the man we love. And with our infiltration route secure, it's time to curve stomp Shido. After repeating the same goddamn repetitive schedule, and then send the calling card to Shido in such a badass display, the bastard who is behind the Men in Black, killing Futaba's mother, killing Haru's father, giving me PTSD twice. No, 3 times after killing my boyfriend Akechi, and the worst crime of all, budging in front of Ryuji at the elevator. Oh, that's it! This guy is so dead! Get out of my way! The fight against Shido is pretty straightforward. Now bear in mind that whoever you have in the front lines will be your party members for the whole fight, since we lack Hufume's perk to switch out party members during a battle. I go with Ryuji and Morgana since they have most, if not all, their confidant abilities like Endure and Protect, and I go with On for her Concentrate skill, even though she doesn't have any confidant abilities. The first phase repels gun and physical, so use magic attacks. The second phase resists magical, so hit him with charged up Ryujis. And the third phase only resists guns, so hit him with everything you got. Then you'll get 2 more phases with Shido only, as he will be constantly powering himself up and throwing strong attacks at you. As long as you keep things heated up and lower his odds of hitting your party members, you should be able to outlast this battle. The last part of this battle forces you to fight Shido, Joker only. But as long as you stay with your most powerful persona and keep your buffs up high, Shido can go down pretty easily. With Shido's heart stolen, we sink the ship and return back to reality where the girls all-out attack Ryuji for no goddamn reason. After completing Shido's palace, we will be getting the final vanilla mementos request from Mishima as early as December 3rd called The Head Honcho in Showbiz. And on December 10th, you will get a mementos request from On called Lady Killer's Ballad. So we wait for the next rainy day before we infiltrate mementos, completing a whole new block with 30 stamps to collect and 3 mementos requests. While doing your run in mementos, I highly recommend getting every single stamp and maxing out your EXP buff and as much as you can of your money buff. You'll see why in a little bit when we return to mementos. On election day, Shido confesses to all of his crimes and we get followed up with having to do exams. Yay! Before the exams start, we will gain 5 mandatory points in knowledge, which thankfully is nowhere near in leveling up our social stat. But then we start to notice that nobody has reacted to Shido's confession with shock, but rather denial. Apparently saying that you're gonna make your country great again is enough to brainwash so many people to pretend that you didn't commit any crimes. However, because this doesn't follow our political views, Sai Nijima gives us our biggest mementos request, changing the heart of the general public before they cause a raid on the Diet building, Florida Man and all. We then max out Morgana the Magician Arcana via story progression as he upgrades Zoro to whatever this thing is, allowing him to get triple the evasion against his only weakness, and being as equally powerful as Ryuji. On Christmas Eve, people ship Joker as being the bottom of a relationship, and we jump into Mementos and head towards the depths where we finally reach the final palace of Persona 5 Vanilla, and what could be your final palace in Persona 5 Royal if you don't have the third semester unlocked. So now that we're here, it's time to finally descend into the depths or head outside and then come back in. Why the heck did I just do that? Well, apparently after you defeat the shadows, as seen here, the cognitive buffs from Jose are carried over from Mementos within the depths. Apparently the developers made it so that when you enter the depths, it will turn off the buffs from Mementos. However, this trigger is only added when you first enter into the depths. You can leave at any time to do any last minute shopping, and any subsequent entrances to the depths will not turn off Jose's buffs due to an oversight on the developer's part. Meaning we could do the entire 8th palace with double the experience earned and 70% more money than usual. This is the only glitch that I will be pulling off in the entire run, but you can see why it's very much worth it, and you can see the difference here with the first battle within the depths. Sadly, the item buffs do not carry over when collecting treasure within the depths, so make sure all your points are allocated to experience and money before you start your infiltration. The depths of Mementos is quite mixed among the Persona community, but personally, I really love it. The depths really shows the limits and dependence of humanity and how us taking away their prime minister they trusted made them lose their way. It's such a realistic follow-up, and the theme of this palace is constantly telling you to give up and endure. Joker may be socially insecure, but we won't let that stop us, now will we? And as we proceed down to the deepest part of Mementos, we find that the source of the public's distortions is a cup. So we wreck the cup, but the will of the people refuses us to destroy it. This battle is scripted with no win condition, so you just gotta keep your party members alive by buffing up. But once the cup kicks us outside into the real world, it becomes that time of the month as Mementos fuses with reality, with only 4 of our confidants being able to see it. Technically 5, but we only see 4 of them who notice for the time being. And because the public still believes that Shido will make Japan great again, the Phantom Thieves get Thanos snapped out of existence, as hell is literally on Earth. We throw a temper tantrum on Igor and then we are forced to fight the twins. But since Joker is too socially incapable of hitting the kids, we just take the beating like a badass and the twins think that I'm awesome and then fuse into one. Turns out they were 2 halves of a velvet room attendant named Lavenza.
My name is Lavenza.
Yeah, I just said that. And in a shocking twist, it turns out that Igor this whole time has been the exact same character if Persona 5 is the only Persona game you've played. And so we automatically max out the Prison Master of the Full Arcana, unlocking the ability to give more EXP Arcana bursts when fusing Personas. The Prison Master makes a deal with Joker saying that he will return everything back to normal and make the Phantom Thieves famous again. Sounds like a promising deal, except Joker remembered the last time he agreed to a contract, he ended up getting tortured by the Men in Black, so we tell that god to shove his deal up his ass.
Well said.
With the god of control gone, another Igor spawns who turns out to be...
My name is Igor. I am pleased to make your acquaintance.
Shadow the Hedgehog? Well, anyway, we revive our friends back from the dead and head to Shibuya to take down the God of Control. The journey to the shrine is guarded by the Archangels, who all have a resistance to bless attacks with no weaknesses, so just hit him with everything you got. And yes, Jose's buffs still carry over to this part of the palace as well, allowing us to level up our stats as quickly as possible to be over-prepared for the big boss battle. I even captured the strong Persona, the Great Mighty Pooh, for his trade affinities, but I don't think I ever used him after capturing him. The rematch against the cup is fairly simple, as you just need to buff up and attack the cup with everything you got. And when you win, this will be the last EXP game before you face up against the treasure's true form, the God of Control in its entirety, Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth is too preachy on how flawed humans are to our liking, so we just shove his religious views up his ass and fight him with everything we got. Similar to the fight against Sainijima, this was a boss fight that always ended too soon for me on normal difficulty, so doing this boss battle for the first time on merciless was definitely a great experience. As the fight progresses, Yaldabaoth will bring out multiple targets to hit, representing one of the deadly sins we fought against in the past, and each and every single one of them repels 2 of our attacks. To get through this fight, I highly recommend using concentrate skills and items to buff up An and Ryuji, and An and Ryuji's electric break and fire break can nullify the one target that happens to repel that skill. You can't cure any status ailments inflicted on your party members, so you just need to make sure that everyone is well healed up, use your buffs, break the nullifications, and burn God in hell. Once Mishima knocks common sense into everyone that gods drool and thieves rule, our very limited confidants we maxed, minus Sejiro, cheer us on, allowing Joker to awaken Arsene into his true form. And so, we end Yaldabaoth in the most poetic way possible, where Satan shoots God in the face to save Christmas. Alright everybody, so we're going to be heading into the 3rd semester, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you can either head to this time to see the final results of the No Social Stat run, or you could just wait until you finish the 3rd semester yourself, because I definitely do not want to spoil you on what the heck happens. So in the meantime, be sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe, and ding the bell if you want more content from me. Alright, so are you ready for the 3rd semester? Are you sure that all of you who don't want to be spoiled or shouldn't be spoiled are gone? Are you sure? Alright. Because if you stay, then you will know that Akechi is alive! But how? Well, it doesn't matter as our relationship is now in the past, and he's gonna help Sai make sure that Shido gets a cellmate with a certain pervy gym teacher. We enter into must-use capture card territory, and one night, I dreamed that I'm in my prison clothes inside the school? Okay, whose kinky idea is that? Ooh, look, a butterfly! Well, that was a weird dream, but things only get weirder within the new year as our friends are talking about their dead families like they're alive or something, and we meet Kasume's dad who, thank God, did not fall under the cliche of being an abusive parent.
Well, shall we get going?
What?
Well, that was weird. How else can it get weirder? I go downstairs to tell the great news, but a certain boss that we killed in Futaba's palace is in the cafe. She turns out to be Futaba's dead mother, Wakaba, and the guy we banged turns out to be Morgana. Oh god, I just did it with a cat. How can I fix this? Oh, hi, honey! Akechi, however, seems to notice the odd change to the world as well, as we appear to be in an alternate reality where Morgana is no longer a cat and Wakaba is alive. Even though our relationship is through, he wants me to help him find out what is going on, and as it turns out, Kusume also notices the oddity with the world too, right down to seeing the 3rd semester palace in the real world that we went to back in October. Upon investigating, we go into the 3rd semester palace with just the 3 of us, with Akechi and Kasume being at level 75. And as we go in, we discover the true ruler of this palace. The true ruler of the 3rd semester palace is Nanako-chan.
Everyday young life to
No, it's Dr. Maruki. He reveals that he is the true ruler of this palace and that he's reshaped the Hans Christian Andersen world into a Disneyfied world, one where everyone will be happy and free from their traumas. Well, clearly he hasn't seen enough Disney movies with that logic, but that's not the point. The point is that Kasume was one of his subjects to his power as he rewrote her cognition, and as we see, she runs into the street killing off her sister Kasume. Wait, Kasume? Yes, you heard right. Yoshizawa this whole time goes by the name Sumire, and her sister Kasume died. So yeah, that whole point of me and Morgana saving Kasume back in October was pointless since Kasume was already dead way before the game even began. So while Sumire heard everyone calling her Kasume, everyone else around her acknowledged her as Sumire. The only reason Joker fell under Maruki's curse was because he read Kasume's name on her ID before hearing her true name. Sumire gets captured by Maruki, leaving Akechi and I the choice of accepting Maruki's reality 1 week from now. And when we go to visit our friends without the use of fast travel, we can see them living their false reality. Futaba has her mom back, Haru has a father that loves and supports her, and Shiho got a perfect 10 during the diving competition. Once Akechi and I return back to the palace, Joker has to decide whether or not to accept the new reality. And because Joker is too socially incapable of saying yes in front of his ex-boyfriend, Maruki goes all hentai on us and we fight. My friends join us and we agree that we rather live in our true reality than a reality based on a happy-go-lucky movie. Morgana then awakens to his third awakening as he fuses his two personas into Diego, the true identity of Zorro. And this will give Miracle Rush, which is essentially a multi-hit Miracle Punch, a great advantage to get crits. We partially infiltrate the palace, and as we ascend the stairs, so does Sumire as she awakens to her true self as Sumire Yoshizawa, and not Kasume, which causes the Faith Arcana to change itself to Sumire Yoshizawa with 5 additional ranks. Finally something to do for once. We complete a part of our infiltration and return back to a happy reality. We use our free time to bond with Sumire, and once we reach rank 9, Sumire confesses her love to Joker. And because Joker is too socially incapable of breaking a poor girl's heart, we accept her love confession, causing our mostly gay protagonist to have a girlfriend. We also get Ryuji's third awakening since he's the only other party member we were able to max out. We give our most appropriate response to him as his two personas fuse into William, the true identity of Captain Kidd, and he receives the skill Fighting Spirit, which is essentially a multi-charge skill that will increase the party's physical attacks. At nighttime, if you have finished all of Caroline and Justine's outings before the Yaldabaoth Arc, you will get an additional outing with Lavenza, with one more skill card that honestly I never found useful. This means that yes, it is indeed 100% possible to do all of the Twin Warden special outings in a no social stat run, so the only possible hindrance is if you increase your charm stat with any other activity outside the maid cafe, as you need a spare 3 points in order to continue the rest of their outings. And then we max out Sumire of the Faith Arcana. And with that, we have finished all possible confidants we were able to rank up with in the no social stat run. With Sumire maxed, we go to a whole new block of mementos that ascends upwards instead of down, a great metaphor to Maruki's intentions. And while there are 40 stamps to collect on the way, there's really no need to get all of them unless you plan to do a New Game Plus playthrough, which I don't plan to do on this file. After completing 2 Mementos requests against some strong as hell shadows, we can disable a barrier in the palace, allowing us to complete it the next day. And once inside the palace, be sure to use a treasure trap as Maruki's palace is definitely the longest palace in the entire game. Even though I was able to insta-kill all enemies, this still took me over 2 hours to complete, only slowing down the text to watch Maruki's past memories, as we see why it's important to him to stop all trauma, how he helps Sumire out by making her think that she's her superior sister Kasume, as well as the fact that he's our 5th confidant who saw the fusion to reality during the Yaldabaoth takeover. Now, I have to say, even though I spend most of the time in this palace insta-killing every enemy, this palace is without a doubt the best palace in Persona 5 Royal. It's visually stunning, thought-provoking, and its story of a man who's not a bad guy wanting to fix trauma is such an intriguing twist to the Persona 5 formula. This palace really adds more to the story that exceeds Persona 5's original ending. While Persona 5 shows that you can change the future into something better, Persona 5 Royal's third semester shows that you cannot change the past. Trauma is a natural part of life and it's always going to be unfair. And unlike the past targets where changing their hearts is easy because they were an asshole or they needed our help, changing the heart of Maruki, who has good intentions, is not easy emotionally, because anyone can understand Maruki's intent. In fact, you may even want to agree with him because it's easier than having to work hard at living a happy life, or being uncertain that you can even earn it. And seeing these flashbacks and his good intentions make it harder. You don't want to win this palace, you just want to help someone who's distorted their views on reality and is hiding away from it. The third semester plays an opposite extreme to the Yaldabaoth Arc, and yet somehow has a stronger premise and message, so to me personally, I absolutely adore the third semester, and find this to be the definitive way to end the Persona 5 story. So after finishing the color puzzles that is more complex and better than the airlock puzzles, we get Maruki's will seeds, which are really only useful in New Game Plus, so never gonna use them, and we secure our infiltration route in the Garden of Eden. We return back to reality and get 2 more mementos requests, which of course we go to complete. And once we're done these 2 requests, we just continue to grind until everyone is at level 99. With the lack of Jasgen drinks, leveling up our party members to the max is really the only way to get the highest amount of stats to fight up against Maruki. With everyone maxed, we proceed to the 2nd of February, where we get Sumiri's third awakening, as she fuses our 2 personas into Ella, the true identity of Cinderella. And this will unlock a skill that will do severe physical attacks twice against 1 foe. Once it's nighttime, Maruki comes to convince us to accept his reality. We still decline, but then he tells us a heartbreaking fact. If we change his heart, Akechi will die because he actually died in Shido's palace. Which means this whole time Akechi was alive thanks to Maruki. And so, we're given a difficult choice. Do we accept his reality so Akechi and I can live a happy married life? Or do I decline and let the man I love die? And this is where the run ends, guys. I'm sorry, but I can't change Maruki's heart. I'm sorry, challenge failed. I mean, how can I let Akechi die? And even if I'm able to move on without him, I am still a socially incapable teenager who can't be knowledgeable enough to pass his exams, I can't be charming enough to attract people, I can't be kind enough to help 2 of my friends through depression, I can't be gutsy enough to be a teacher's best student, and I can't be proficient enough to play darts with my friends. I'm sorry, guys, but if an oblivious, milquetoast bumbling, inoffensive, existent Joker can't live his life with these limitations, how can I live in a reality without Akechi's hand in marriage? I'm sorry, guys. I have to accept. I mean, what have I done in this merciless life that makes it worth living? I mean, sure, I helped out Ryuji, gave Yusuke some artistic views, helped Sumire realize the truth. I also helped a fortune teller realize her own work is a scam. I played some games when I felt like it, and I saved lives. I saved the lives by changing the hearts of criminals and helping Futaba overcome her guilt. Even though I felt I wasn't able to help her more, I still gave her a life worth living. Wait a minute. This whole time, I have been helping people. I have been making a difference. I may be at level 1 social stats, but I still pushed through and did what I felt like I could do. Maybe this whole time, I wasn't socially insecure. I just felt that way and played life like it was the most merciless thing ever. And yet, here I am. I made mistakes, but so did Akechi. And if my ex-boyfriend is going as far to bring a reality back, maybe he knows. He knows he won't come back, but it's the best thing he can do for the man he loves. He wants Joker to live a happy life, even if it means losing him altogether. I can't betray Akechi's wish like that, and I am capable of making a difference, no matter how low my social stats are. So sorry, Maruki, I decline. And with our final decision made, we get Life Will Change 2.0, as we get an awesome infiltration route music called I Believe. I lost count how many times I played this song at work. So before we face up against Maruki, here are my final builds for the personas I will use in battle. One of them I was able to max out all stats with, and I'll be fighting Maruki with Ryuji, Morgana, and Sumire, since they have all of their confidant abilities like Endure and Harrison Recovery to ensure a better chance of winning the fight. So now, the fight against Maruki begins, and holy shit was this boss fight awesome on Merciless difficulty. Every single tentacle will be blocking Maruki in some way, so you have to exploit their weaknesses and figure out their resistances. Since the tentacles have a weakness, you can utilize the baton pass to various stages, so thank God we were able to max out the boys' baton passes at the least. Also, it seems like it's impossible to get critical for this fight, so you're better off not using Sumire's Brave Step ability. From here, you just take every advantage of what limitations your party members have and lower Azathoth's hit points, as the tentacles will only heal Maruki. Yet Azathoth is the reason the tentacles respawn each turn in the first place. Once in a while, Maruki will actualize a limitation to prevent you from performing certain actions. You will need to face off against a very powerful attack that could kill off your team and even do severe damage to Joker himself while he's guarding. So just keep your buffs up, charge up physicals, attack Azathoth with high baton pass stages, and keep everyone alive. And since we can't swap out party members, thankfully there are 2 saving graces for this fight. Salmas, which can fully restore the party's HP and SP, and thankfully I only had to use it once. And if you've been buying the wine from the church every Sunday, you can use the wine to conserve Morgana's SP for salvation if the party members are also inflicted with status ailments. So gradually drink wine, charge up, and keep the damage constant per turn. You may have a turn or two where it's best not to perform an action, but doing so will also make the fight longer. This took me 38 minutes to complete, and while this is the first phase, believe it or not, the first phase is actually the longest and hardest part. The next fight has Maruki awaken to his second persona, Adam Kadmon, and goddamn is this thing such a cool design. Adam Kadmon has some very devastating attacks, even against Joker with max HP, but all you gotta do is beat up Maruki, drink wine, and then we move to the next phase. Adam and Maruki kiss, and they do...
I'm all yours. Use me however you want.
Very passionate stuff. And the last phase against Adam Kadmon is pathetic. He will do some very strong attacks that can lower our health down severely. However, this last part is heavily scripted, so just buff up, drink wine, and keep everyone alive, as Futaba will script the next badass sequence for Joker. So with one QuickTime event that hardly qualifies as a QuickTime event, we kill Adam and steal Maruki's heart. So after Maruki and Joker smack cheeks together, we return back to our sucky reality where I am in prison and Akechi is dead. And our friends somehow get us out in 10 days? Yeah, even with the vanilla ending, the short time span was really stretching it. Get Legal on this and tell us how long it would actually take. So we spend Valentine's Day with the bros, get murdered by Sumire, get dragged into a date with Sumire, and spend our final day seeing that the traitor has finally stopped spoiling his son for once. We gain 6 farewell gifts and end this run with level 1 social stats. So, with Joker moving on from his past and not improving his social quirks, the challenge run of getting the true ending on Merciless difficulty without raising Joker's social stats is confirmed to be 100% possible. And wow, this run was freaking awesome. It took about 68 hours to complete with no intention of speedrunning, and being able to beat the entire game on Merciless difficulty for the first time, while adding on this unnecessary restriction, really made it into a fresh replay of this awesome game for me. So in total, this is how far we were able to get in leveling up every social stat before it could reach level 2. The 2 instances we gained knowledge was only during 2 moments of the game where it was mandatory. We only gained 3 points in Charm doing the Maid Cafe just to do all of Caroline and Justine's outings. Guts is only gained at 3 optional moments to get rank 1 with Takemi, gain access to the Export Billiards book to get rank 1 for technical damage, and scold the maid at the Maid Cafe. Kindness was completely reserved for getting the first 3 ranks with Shinya Oda, who has far more useful abilities than Sojiro, and Proficiency was given to us when we had to do our tutorial for crafting a lockpick, and an extra 3 more points to craft the permapick, and 2 moments where we had to max out the baton pass ranks for Joker, Ryuji, and Morgana. When it comes to Mementos requests, we were able to complete 22 out of 33. We were able to complete 2 of the Confidant requests, both from Chihaya, while 8 of the other Confidant requests are unobtainable, and only 3 of Mishima's Mementos requests were impossible due to having to work at our part-time jobs. When it comes to Confidants, we were able to max out 9 out of 23, with 6 of them being optional. 8 Confidants we were partially able to rank up with. Yoshida and Oya are too risky as they prevent us from being able to craft the permapick, ranking up baton pass ranks, and completing the special outings. And only 4 Confidants were impossible to start since they require high level social stats. And we've gained so much HP and SP during the run, being able to max it out halfway through the story. We gained so much that if we compare it to the first battle on New Game Plus, we already have maxed hit points and we gained 813 spirit points during the run. I gotta say, this was a fantastic run. Do I recommend trying out the no social stat run for yourself? Well, unless you're attempting to do a minimalist challenge and go beyond what I just did, I would advise against it and instead just play Persona 5 as originally intended. I mean, I started running out of things to do once I reached the Futaba story arc. However, I hope this challenge run has given you great insight on the game's many features and limitations, and I think it delivers a stronger message than the developers originally intended. It really doesn't matter who you are as a person. You may be oblivious with knowledge, lack the charm and just feel existent, be bumbling at being proficient, feel inoffensive with your kindness, or milquetoast when it comes to your guts. But no matter how socially insecure you may feel, just remember, you can make a difference, spend time with new people, and make life-changing decisions for a better future. You may be unable to change the past, you may lose loved ones, and you may never get over your traumas or even improve yourself socially, but you can still make a difference, and life is very much worth living. So if you ever feel like you can't change the world, just remember, Joker is able to get the true ending on the hardest difficulty with level 1 social stats, and if a socially insecure Joker can change the world, so can you.